So this little dude right here, there's been a lot of talk about it within the fishing industry in the last couple of years. It's called a Ned Rig. Some people call it a TRD rig. TRD stands for turd because it looks like a turd. I've been experimenting with it probably for a couple months now, and honestly, I can't believe how many fish it catches. When it first came out and I saw it, I scoffed a little bit. I like to fish big line, big rods, and all that kind of stuff. And I said, well, yeah, if you want to catch a bunch of 12 inchers, it'll work. It'll work just fine. Well, today, I've caught a 20-pound limit on it in about an hour, and it's unbelievable how it catches fish. I think what makes it so special is it looks like nothing. You know, when you have a high barometric pressure, post-frontal days, you know, windy, days that aren't ideal for bass fishing, this really tends to shine. And the bait that I have on here is a Z-Man Finesse TRD. And what's pretty cool about this, because you're gonna get a lot of bites, and you'll get maybe some bluegill bites too, and you're gonna catch small and large bass. So the worm holds up really well. Look how far I can stretch this thing. And it stretches right back into shape. It doesn't like to slide down the shank of the hook. Kyle, our camera guy, can vouch for me. I've caught, I think, probably 10 bass on this one worm all day. So it's got a little wire or cable weed guard right there. So you're still gonna get hung up a little bit with this exposed hook, and that's just the nature of the beast. You know, same thing with wacky rigs and whatnot. But it helps tremendously with sprigs of grass, light cover, you know, little skinnier, lighter blowdowns and whatnot. When I cast it out there, I let it sink to the bottom, and I fish it kind of like a shaky head. I'll keep my finger on my line like that so I can feel it, and I just pop the slack in my line. I'm not actually really moving that jig head at all. I'm just popping the slack. And what that thing does, it just sits down there and quivers. Now that could look like a little bluegill eating something off the bottom, and it could, with a little color change, it could certainly look like a minnow, you know, eating or feeding off the bottom, or one dying, struggling. It can really mimic a lot of stuff, and I think that we overlook a lot the simplicity of Bass Forge. And hook sets have been a little bit of an experiment for me, because I'm used to really, you know, yanking on them with heavier tackle. But what I found so far is just kind of a abrupt lift, if you will, while you reel. You're not really, you know, yanking on it, because you're gonna break your line. I mean, I'm fishing with 8-pound test, so just a abrupt lift, and while you're reeling, and these bass are getting it way back here, way back there. I'm having to get pliers to get it out. So that's the best way I've found to fish it so far. Rod, I've been using a 6'9". This is a medium power. This is a 13 fishing Muse Gold. I think a 7 foot, 6'6" to 7 foot would be really good. You need that medium power because you got a lot of light weights that come in these mushroom jig heads here. So, you know, it's light tackle, but my gosh, it catches big fish. And, you know, if you were skeptical about it when it came out, if you've read our reviews on it, if you've read our features on it, just try it. I mean, give it a full day on your favorite lake, and come back and tell me that it doesn't catch fish.